Right. Namhlanje sizobheka the acid-base titration. What is titration? Titrator is to neutralize. We know that a base, according to Arrhenius, is a substance in our OH minus. So my substance in our OH minus, H plus. That solution, we say it's basic. As you know, that in the solution we have a combination of H plus and OH minus. OH minus, H plus. So in the solution we have a combination of H plus and OH minus. Now, if a solution in our OH minus, if the concentration of OH minus is greater than the concentration of H plus, if the concentration of OH minus is greater than the concentration of H plus, if our OH minus bedlula our H plus solution, then we say that solution is what? It becomes basic or alkaline. So the concentration of OH minus is the concentration of H plus. But now, if the concentration of OH minus is the same as the concentration of H plus, then the solution, we say it is neutral. The solution is neutral when the concentration of H plus is OH minus, which means in the solution you have the H plus OH minus, then we say that solution is neutral. It has equal number of hydroxide ion as against hydroxyl. That is, it's OH minus, which is hydroxide, and H plus, which is hydrogen. So we have that. Now, if you have a concentration of OH minus being less than the concentration of H plus, now if it's less, it means our H plus in the solution are more than our OH minus. Then we say the solution is acidic. So the solution is acidic. Generally, before you get titration. Now this topic of acid-base titration, some books are saying acid-base neutralization. This is acid-base neutralization, which means if you have a solution, a base, base in our OH minus, H plus. Now you neutralize that. When you neutralize it, obviously we neutralize H plus. So our H plus bazo react on our OH minus basakhela. So each time you neutralize that, you reach to a stage, in neutral, then you know that solution has been neutralized. Now, generally, ama equations ahamba kanjani na? Generally, we know that if an acid reacts with a base, it forms a salt and water. If an acid reacts with a base, it forms a salt and it also forms water. So we know that that is generally. Now, if the acid reacts on a base, it forms a salt and water. Neutral. Now, acid si identify ngani. Acid si identify ngani ukuthi kunabo H plus. If a solution nabo H plus abaningi, sibona ngayo ukuthi that's an acid. Base si identify ngani na? Arrhenius. It's OH minus. So, if from an acid you need an H plus, from a base you need OH minus. Now, if H plus reacts with OH minus, it's nigga in now. It's nigga H2O. This is known as the essential equation. Essential, something that is important. What is important from an acid? We need H plus. What is important from a base? We need OH minus. Now, what do you get? If H plus is around OH minus, then it forms water. So we have we have that. Now, is salt kamgaphi? All right, we'll come back to that one. Now, let's take, for example, let's take an acid that we know. Let's say we have ACl plus the base that we know, NaOH. Now, we are being specific. Message is specific. We take HCl from a base, it's sodium hydroxide. Then it forms, then what do we find? HCl is a kelani. Ngifuna sihlukanise la ukuze ubone. Iqhamuka to HCl. We have H plus what? Cl minus. HCl wakhiwa yini? It's H plus nani na no Cl minus. Sodium hydroxide wakhiwa yini na? Na plus nani OH minus. Sodium hydroxide yakhiwa Na plus and what? And OH minus. Now, bugak. From an acid, we take H plus. From a base, we take OH minus. Right, now, H plus and OH minus, kuzosakhelani? Kuzosakhela H2O. Then, from an acid, sithatha le negative, the ion A negative. Iyohlangana ne-ion from a base, a positive. A positive is Na plus, a negative is Cl minus. Then, izowakha le salt, NaCl. Now, basically, from an acid, we have HCl reacting with a base, sodium hydroxide. Then it forms a salt, that is sodium chloride, plus water. We have been specific here. Now, let's take another example. It is sink in our head. Let's take another example. It is sink in our head. Let's say you take, let's say nitric acid. And a base, we have potassium hydroxide. If you take a nitric acid and you have the potassium hydroxide, obviously, in nitric acid, yakiwa yini na? Yakiwa H plus what? NO3 minus. From an acid, makpumu H plus. Lenye sala more negative. It's NO3 minus. From a base, siyazi yini le? It's K plus what? Plus OH minus. So yazi from a base, le ion A positive is tata ion A negative from an acid to form a salt. The ion A positive from a base, tata ion A negative from an acid to form a salt. Then what do you form? KNO3. This is the type of salt that it forms, potassium nitrate. Then H plus and OH minus is akela nina, is akela amount. So we have this type of neutralization. Now, let's take example manje. What if Leo acid is diprotic? What if that acid is diprotic? In diprotic now, we have, let's say, H2SO4 plus sodium hydroxide. Oh, then it gives a problem. Diprotic. If diprotic, keep our hydrogen number as we said before, programs. Now, we have sulfate and our hydrogen babi. Then it form OH plus. If H plus okan, it keep H plus SB. So babi. Sexalanla SO4 2 minus. Why 2 minus? Alankati keep H plus okan. It's a negative. May say keep H plus SB. It becomes more negative than before. Hence we have a sulfate ion. We have SO4 2 minus. Sodium hydroxide. Isakela na. Sodium hydroxide Na plus what? OH minus. Now, no OH minus or water. And we know that we need OH minus or water. Also tata hydrogen or water. But now here we have OH minus or water, no hydrogen ababili. So okufanele sikwenze njani? Njengoba sinabo hydrogen ababili, so tingabo OH minus ababili. To balance that, you have to have NaOH. Ngoba lo 2NaOH. Lo 2NaOH uyokhipha OH, lo munye NaOH, nalo munye sodium hydroxide akhipha OH. So la sesigcina sesinabo OH abangaki? Sesinabo OH ababili. 2H plus and 2OH minus. Uyosakhela amanzi amangaki. Now, let's come back. H plus and OH minus, it gives us 1 molecule of water. So it means 2H plus and 2OH minus. Uyosakhela amanzi amangaki? 2 water. What about the salt? Now, if salt, you know that kunabo OH minus ababili. Obviously, kuzaba nabo Na plus abangaki na? About 2. Ngoba 2 sodium hydroxide is akhela Na plus about 2, nabo OH minus about 2. Then what do we have? Sesibona manje le salt that will be formed. Yiphi le salt lena na? Is sodium sulfate. Is sodium sulfate buka Na plus and SO4 2 minus. Oh, ake ngibeke kanje. You have Na plus, you have another Na plus, about 2 lang. And SO4 2 minus. Bonke laba bahlanganele to form a neutral compound. Plus no plus is 2 plus. And SO4 2 minus. This one in a charge of minus 2. Lay in a charge of plus 1, now a charge of plus 1. So to think out plus 1 no plus 1 to give us SO2. Then what will we have? Then we'll have Na about 2 and SO4. Now, how do we write the whole thing? We say we have Na2SO4 plus what? Plus 2H2O. So, if an acid reacts with a base, it will form a salt and water. But now, kumele ubheke ukuthi kuyabakheka kanjani lama salt and water. So, this is how we do it. Thank you.